Hello everybody, today I'm going to be doing a tutorial on how to apply real-time effects on your voice using only free and or open source software. So, I used to apply real-time effects onto my voice using DAW, and damn near all DAWs are cost money. So I figure, why am I using it if, I'm sure there's got to be a free alternative out there, and I have found it. So it took a lot of scouring the internet to find all of this software, and I'm glad to just bring it all into one place. So maybe later in the future I can watch this video again and just get it set up. So here you go. First things first, you're going to want to download something called the Synchronous Audio Router, and that acts as a virtual audio cable. I'm sure some of you know that if you've been looking for something like this, you've ran into virtual audio cable. And what virtual audio cable does, and the Synchronous Audio Router, they do basically the same thing. They create virtual lines on your audio, on your sound. So they act as a device, acts as a line. This is a virtual audio cable. I haven't deleted it yet. And what this does is pretty much if I use this as my playback for, let's say, a YouTube video, I could use the same thing as my microphone for, let's say, Discord, and the audio would pass through into Discord. So, works beautifully. That's pretty great. So, that's what you're going to want to get. You're going to want to get the Synchronous Audio Router. Download and install that, and we'll move on to the next piece of software you need to download and install. Next, we're going to install jackaudio. Now, jackaudio is similar to Synchronous Audio Router, as in it is a driver. That's about where the similarities cut off. It's very difficult to explain, but I'll explain it through demonstration later in the video. Now, after you've done installing all of it, you're going to have to perform one next step, which is not explained in the instructions here. And what that is you're going to want to, now I just use Windows R and type CMD in, open the command prompt, and here you are. You're going to want to CD to the location where you installed it. So you can do C:/, sorry, I'm using a new keyboard, and that's going to be program files, whoops, C:/ program files, and I can just hit tab again. We want to do the x86 one, and then you're going to want to do \jack, hit tab, autocomplete it, and then we're going to do, now depending on whether you're 64-bit or 32-bit, I'm on 64-bit, most people are, going to have to go look that one up yourself if you want to find that one out. You're going to do 64 bits, and you're going to hit enter. So now we're in the folder. You have to register a DLL file. So this is called signing. It makes it so the system trusts the file in here. So you're going to type in regsvr32, and you're going to type in jack, and just hit tab. Should autocomplete it to jackaudio.dll. That is in this folder. When you hit enter, you'll get something that does not say register server failed, because I already did this. Oh, bunch of errors. Okay, that's fine. So, once you've done that, it will say like registration successful or something. Just hit OK, and there's nothing else to it. Fully installed. So, let's move on to the next thing. You're going to want to install Carla and Cadence. Cadence is a beautiful piece of software that shows you all of your audio devices on this big graph, and you can just click on one, drag a line to another, and they are linked. It's like, take an input, connect it directly to an output. I could take my microphone directly into my headphones, and there'll be very little delay in the audio signal. It's pretty nice. And Carla, it's like a piece of software you can put the effects directly onto any audio source, and it will play it back in real time. It's a pretty nice piece of software. So you'll want both of these. I already have all of these installed, that's why I'm not doing any of it. Then you're going to want Pedalboard. Very similar to the last piece of software. You can apply effects to your voice or any audio source in real time, and it'll come out the other end. But this software is also required because we need to edit the what's it called? The drivers for ASIO, and the only way to do that is through a piece of software that has that functionality, and this one in particular does. It's also a decent piece of software. The next things are completely, you know, up to you. You don't necessarily need to download these, but these are VST packs. These are packs of effects, and they're relatively difficult to find free ones. So I listed 2 places where I found free VST packs. First one is actually Reaper put out a pack of their effects, and I can honestly say that they are freaking solid. Everything I want was in this pack, but if you need more, Behringer also put out a free pack of VST effects. Great. So let's get started. You have all of these softwares installed, so that means we can get her started. First things first, we're going to want to start Pedalboard 2. All of these softwares need to be run as administrator. It seems anything that works with audio interfaces on the computer need to be elevated to administrator privileges. So it's pretty much worth it to just go into the compatibility settings and check that run the program as an administrator checkbox. It's not going to work otherwise. It's not worth double clicking it, closing it, and then restarting it as administrator. I wasted a lot of time like that. So we got Pedalboard. What you're going to want to do with Pedalboard is pretty much ignore everything for the moment. We'll work with it later. And you're just going to go to Options, Audio Settings. And now that you have the synchronous audio cable, it should show up in this list. We got ASIO for all. I have FL Studio installed, so I have some FL Studio ASIO drivers. We also have Jack Router. Make sure Jack Router is in there. If it isn't, something went wrong. I'm not sure what it is. You're just going to want it. But mostly, all you're going to really want is Jack Router, Synchronous Audio Router, and I forgot to tell you, you got to install ASIO for all. That'll be in the description as well. It's simple install. There's nothing to it. Download, install, done. Should show up in here. The last thing, that should be it. Okay, so click on Synchronous Audio Router and click Show this device's control panel. And this is why we needed the Pedalboard program, because that's the only way to interact with Synchronous Audio Router. There's no program to run or anything. So in here, you're going to want to make your lines. I threw up air quotes, but this isn't a video. Or there's no video of me. So this is pretty much just a generic list of playbacks and recordings. They're just, that's what they're called. So we'll make some new ones. We'll do add, name. We're just going to do test, or I'm just going to do disc in, and that'll be a microphone. I don't know why it's not letting me. Jeez. Come on. Something about the recording is disallowing me from changing this correctly, but I could just use the arrow keys. Alright, disc in, and we're going to change this to a recording. Hit OK. And disc out. And that'll be a playback. And this is just for Discord. You can name that whatever you want, it doesn't matter, who cares. Alright. Now, we're going to set a hardware interface. Now, we're just going to change it to ASIO for all. There's plenty on the list. It's all the things that you saw back in the last screen. You're going to configure that. And we get this. And this is where all your problems, if they happen, will happen. And that is because a lot of the time, you'll open something up and you'll look in here and you'll see that the audio device isn't available. It'll just be a red X, and that is because there's something on the system using it. What I'm surprised to see right now is is all of my devices are for some reason available when I'm currently talking to you through a microphone, through this microphone right here. That's unbelievable, but whatever. So what you're going to want to do, you actually won't see it with all these plus signs and minuses. You got to click that little advanced options button, and you want to expose to Synchronous Audio Router all of the devices you want to use with Synchronous Audio Router. And obviously the things you would like to expose to it are your speakers that you use and the microphone that you use. If those are for some reason unavailable, then that I've done so much troubleshooting myself, and it seems like it's just a roll of the dice. But really, you just gotta start your computer, and you gotta close everything, and they should show up as usable. Now, I have my Turtle Beach headset in and my Turtle Beach headset out. I currently don't have my headset plugged into my Turtle Beaches, so we'll figure out how I'm going to demonstrate to you these audio effects. It's either that or, yeah, I'm really not sure how I'm going to do that. I might transition once I've done that or something. Okay, but, so just do that. Then they'll show up as available devices. I'll turn this one on too. You have to make sure that the parent is turned on. If the parent is turned off and the children are turned on, they won't show up. So just like that. Close it, and we're good to go. Hit apply, hit OK. Alright, sorry about that. So now that we have our devices exposed to Synchronous Audio Router, we can start jackaudio. So what we're going to do is we're going to just hit properties, or sorry, we're going to find jackaudio router, by searching for it, and we'll find jack port audio. You can just drag that right from here onto your desktop, just exactly as is. I already have it there, I don't want to overwrite it, whatever. And then we're going to hit properties on it, and we're going to give it a big set of launch options, which I'll just provide to you in the description. And all that really matters about it, if you're for some reason crashing when you run it or something, the only setting that you need to preserve is this one. It says ASIO Synchronous Audio Router. But the rest of it, you can switch around and see what happens, and if it breaks, it breaks. But what you'd like is for it to run the Synchronous Audio Router. Hit OK, and we're going to run that now. Run as administrator. Alright, so when I ran jack port audio, it crashed my video player. This is something you'll notice with a lot of these audio software or audio drivers, is they rearrange your audio devices in a way that a lot of programs that are currently using them cannot recover and fail dramatically. But once it's all running, it'll work fine. You just need to, don't start these programs when there's other software that's depending on knowing where your audio devices are. But now that it's started, everything will stay as is. So now we have port audio started. What we want to start is cadence. And specifically in cadence, we want to start Cadia. Of course, always run as administrator, otherwise it won't work. But you'll notice when you start Cadia, you'll get this program. What I have here is a list of devices. The first one being the microphone that I use. Up here it says in 1, 2, 2, whatever, and this is the output, my speakers. So you'll notice that everything has a pair, 1 and 2. 1 is left channel, 2 is right channel. Simple. Disc in right now is the audio device that I created with the audio router, the Synchronous Audio Router. And I'm piping my microphone into disc in, and this is what device I'm using for my video recorder. So I had to actually stop the video to set this up, otherwise you wouldn't hear my voice. But it's done now. As you'll see, if I disconnect, I believe I only have left channel with this microphone. So if I disconnect, and we're back. Couldn't hear me. So now, this is pretty cool and all. I can hook my headphones right into my own headphones. Now I can hear myself. Pretty cool. So, what Cadia is a program that hooks in to jackaudio and tells it how to behave. You can think of jackaudio as a server. Sorry, I hit the microphone. And Cadia as a program that connects to that server. And now this is all cool and all. You can route audio devices all around, all kinds of ways, up and down, left and right. If you have enough speakers, you can just route all your inputs into your outputs. It's pretty beautiful stuff. And that, I believe, is a great bonus for this method versus just a random DAW. So, now, we're going to start a program which also hooks into Jack and allows you to apply effects to your audio stream. So we have two we can use. We can use pedal board, which I do not prefer, and Carla. We're going to use Carla first. Run as administrator. Since Carla is made by the same person who made Cadia, you'll notice they look very similar when you click on the patch bay. See that? Oh, that's strange. Why do I see Carla in here? Oh, my bad. I'm not on default settings. Go to your engine. Go to patch bay. Okay. So when you go into soft settings, you're going to want to go to engine. It'll stay at patch bay by default. Just leave it as is. And your jack and your audio driver, you're going to want to change it to jack. Then I have to actually start, and I have to stop and then start my engine again. There we go. So now it should look the way I expected it to look. We got audio input and we got audio output. You say, how do you connect to Carla? Well, if you look at Cadia, it just sort of popped in here when we ran it. That's because it connected to Jack, told Jack, hey, I exist, and then Jack told Cadia, hey, this exists. So we can plug our audio from our microphone directly into Carla, and that'll show up as the audio input. Take our audio out, put it directly into the recording, and I'll align this so it makes more sense. We're not using any Discord audio output, and we're not really using my speakers either, so I'll put those out of the way. So now I'm going to add an effect to my voice. The way you do that is go to the rack, add, and then you add any of the VSTs that you have installed. They're you know, if you can't find them, you have to tell Carla the folder where all the VSTs are. It's relatively easy. You go to settings, configure Carla, paths, then you change it to VST. Add a new folder in there where your VSTs are, it'll find them. So, add, and we're going to do REAJS. Really like this. It's a Reaper plugin. Relatively easy to use. It's kind of like a pack of plugins within a plugin. I don't quite understand why it was done this way, but it seems like it's used some other type of programming language or something to create these. And we'll just go through and find we'll find like a resonant low pass filter. Hello. Oh, that one. It's because we need to plug it in. Plug it into here. Plug it out of here. And I have no idea what it sounds like because I'm not plugged into my speakers. Wow, that sounds absolutely strange. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Okay. So now I know. So, disconnect. Okay, that was pretty strange. Pretty cool though. Now, as you can see, I had my unaffected audio going straight in here too, so you could hear my unaffected voice on top of the affected voice. But you know, just route it how you'd like. It's pretty simple, easy to understand. There's also some other stuff you can do, like you can run instruments through this thing. You do a lot with this thing. It's all very simple to use. If you're sick of the of plugging things directly into each other like that, you can just go to settings, configure Carla, engine, and you can change it from patch bay to continuous rack and hit OK. Gotta restart your engine for some ungodly reason. And then you go to rack, and you just have to only be in rack at this point. Plug them into each other. And then as you apply effects to this rack, they'll simply, the input of one will go into the output of the one below it, and so on and so forth. Relatively easy to use. It's a lot easier to use. So I'll just use like a gate, or I guess a gate wouldn't work, but I could use that. Apparently that for some reason didn't work. I've been having trouble with my VSTs lately. I think I installed like the wrong versions of them or something. Yeah, I don't know. Wobbler. Hello. Kind of sounds insane. That's ridiculous, frankly. Okay. Yeah, you get it. And so that's how you apply effects with Carla. The last way to apply effects is, like I said, with, oh, come on. Carla's not responding. Damn you, Carla. That's fine. Pedal board. You can also just use any audio software that you know of that uses ASIO type drivers. Like if you open FL Studio and you tell it to use Jack instead of ASIO, it'll show up in Cadia with an input and an output. And that's just amazing. So many softwares are actually compatible with this in the grand scheme of things. We're just going to use this crappy little program. Okay, that's not crappy. I'm sure the guy who made this put so much effort into it. And to be honest, I am very grateful that someone made something like this. So we're just going to run pedal board, which I believe is not running because Carla won't close, which is strange. I've been having a lot of problems with Carla, but I can tell you right now, I don't have any problems with pedal board really. Alright, so the moment you add pedal board in, it'll automatically route the input to your microphone and the output to your speakers, which is pretty nifty. Then you can just add, your EQ, which for some reason works in pedal board and not Carla. So as you can see, they have different pros and cons. This particular one, I do not like plugging things into each other like that. It's too big of a pain. I don't like doing it. But there we go. So now I'm EQing my voice. If you hit E, you'll bring up the menu, and I can just drop all the bass off my voice, and it sounds like I'm an idiot. Yeah. Ooh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah, pretty strange. There you go. That's a pretty cool effect. But, alright. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I really do. I put a lot of effort into it. I know it was a little bit longer than it needed to be, but I kept running into these problems because of these audio programs just kind of messing with the recording. But, alright, subscribe, like the video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.